everybody, I'm Lisa Rowberry, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back to my channel, and today's video is a video I look forward to every single year, even though things look a little bit differently this year. This is the collaboration with my bestie, Melanie. So many of you know and love her just as much as I do. She is here on YouTube. Her channel name is Mr. Kong's Mom, and she's my bestie, like I said. But normally I say things are looking a little bit differently because normally we see each other once a year and we do this little sniff session or collab together in person. But unfortunately, a little thing called COVID-19 happened, and so we were not able to see each other this year. So fingers, toes, and eyes crossed we can actually see each other next year because I miss her dearly. So, but we are doing this from the comfort of our own homes. So we are choosing our top 10 Fall 2020 fragrances for Scentsy. So much fun. You know how much we love this season, and we are in talks of maybe doing another top 10 recommendations for the holiday season as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Like I said, we are choosing 10 fragrances from the Scentsy catalog, and we don't know what each other chose. So we love doing this little like mystery guessing game. So I have no idea what scents she chose. She has no idea what scents I chose, but I'm super interested to see if we had some overlap. I was telling her earlier, I was like, I think we're gonna have some overlap in the fall. I think our scents tend to differ a little bit for like the holiday fragrances, maybe just a little bit, but for the most part, we have kind of the same palette. So I'm gonna be super interested to see if we pick some of the same scents here. So let's go ahead and get started. We are picking 10, and this is not in any particular order. It's not like number 1 is my favorite and then number 10 is my least. No, this is just, and I'm glad that we're not doing like a favorite to the least favorite, because I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be able to like actually pick a favorite. These are like my kids. You can't pick a favorite. So let's go ahead and get started. I can't have a fall scent recommendation list without Cider Mill. I love Cider Mill so very much. This one, whenever it retires, it goes into my Scentsy club just on the off chance it does not come back the next fall and winter season, because I personally cannot live without this scent. I love this. I really love this. This is very, very similar to Bath & Body Works Pumpkin Apple. It is so nice. It is pumpkin, it's apple, very, very slight hint of like fall spices, but it's not overly heavy on the fall spice. It's not like cinnamon in your face. It's just pumpkin, apple, just a little hint of fall spices just to give you that like fall time vibe. Oh, but I love it. It had to make my list. Let me tell you what Scentsy says about this. And they actually do categorize this in the spice category, but I don't think it's not overwhelming with spices. So Scentsy says, Cider Mill brings together fresh apples, crushed pumpkin, and simmering spices for a cozy autumn treat. I absolutely 100% agree with that description, but just like I said, don't be off put by like the spices in this and the fact that it's in the spice category, because I don't like overwhelming spice. This is done beautifully, and it had to make my fall list. Love it. Next one is a new one. Oh my gosh, the new releases this season, you guys, Scentsy knocked it out of the park, because there are several from the new releases that have like blown my mind, and one of which is Almond Croissant. This one I think is gonna be on her list if I know her. It's life-changing. It's so good. Oh, I just love this. It's almonds, it's warm, buttery pastry, it's rich, it's decadent, it's perfection, and I just love this. So Scentsy says Almond Croissant is a fresh baked croissant, is made even more heavenly with cinnamon sugar and an infusion of almond. Once again, I don't get a ton of cinnamon from this personally. It's just more of that like almond, and then just the pastry sweetness and the rich and the warmth, and it's wonderful. And this is a powerhouse. It is so good. This is one of the scents I like to say around here, if it chokes out my husband, it's staying. I love the powerhouse fragrances. He prefers his scents to be a little more subdued. I like it in your face. I want my neighbors to smell what's happening over here. So this one, amazing for that. The next one on my list is breakfast in bed. And this one I absolutely love. I think Melanie was not like crazy about it. I think she's like, yeah, it's okay. But so I won't be surprised if this does not make her list, but it's definitely making mine. And you know what I really, really love is actually mixing these two, mixing the almond croissant and the breakfast in bed. So good. Once again, it's like a life-changing experience. In fact, this is what I had going in the house when my husband came home and he was like, oh, we gotta turn some of these warmers off. I was like, wait, does that mean you don't like it? He's like, no, I can taste it. I'm like, perfect. So let me tell you about this. Breakfast in bed is, I get, there is like a warm pastry note, but it's not like you don't smell this and you smell like pie crust, or you don't smell like donut. You just get like a warm kind of pastry. And then I also get pumpkin and a little bit of fall spices. It's just really, really nice. And I love it. So, wonderful. Scentsy says, wake up to a warm pumpkin pastry filled with black raspberry. And I think that's what I like about it as well. I think before I had said that I almost smell like there's a little bit of cranberry in here, because there is like kind of a tart berry note to this that I do really like, because it kind of offsets the richness between like the pumpkin and the like warm pastry. There is like just a little bit of tart that just kind of brightens it up for me personally. So pumpkin pastry filled with black raspberry and topped by a sweet cinnamon drizzle. Once again, not overpowering in any kind of way as far as the cinnamon goes. It's more of like on the back end just to kind of warm it up just a little bit. So love that one. Had to make my list. Okay, number 4, total shocker for me, you guys. Total shocker. Apples and oats. And the reason why I say shocker is because when I smelled it on cold, I was like, okay, I like it, but I felt like it was missing something. No, once I warmed it, love this one. Oh, it's so good. And what I really love about this is that there's no spice to this. It's just apples, and you do get that like oat kind of scent note. And I know that sounds weird because you don't usually smell oats, right? But you do kind of smell that kind of grainy, almost texture, you know? It's really nice. I do really like this. And what's funny is that I remember this says that there's cinnamon in this, and I don't smell cinnamon in this whatsoever. I really don't. Even when it's warmed up, it comes alive. And this one was one when I first smelled it, I was like, I just feel like it needs something more. Like I feel like I need to mix it with something. And I feel like you totally could mix this with something, but you don't have to. I honestly thought when I was gonna warm this that I was gonna have to mix it because I liked it, but I just felt like it needed just a little something more. And no, it's so good. Scentsy says apple and oats, rich buttery oats, caramelized apple, and warm hints of cinnamon. Beacon straight from a farmhouse kitchen. It's so good. I do really, really love this one. So it had to make my list. And this was the shocker of the bunch, I have to say. Okay, next one. Stroopwaffle Delight. I love this all times. I really do. Stroopwaffle Delight is fantastic. Absolute bakery perfection. Yep. It is caramel pastry goodness. It's rich, it's warm, it's buttery, it's sweet, and it is so good. Also, powerhouse. Absolute powerhouse. Fantastic. This is amazing on its own, or if you are wanting to mix it to make something a little more bakery. That's honestly kind of what I was thinking about mixing with apple and oats, is to just give it like a little something extra with Stroopwaffle Delight, but I didn't even need to. And this is actually pretty strong as well. So, but Stroopwaffle Delight is amazing on its own, but also an amazing mixer if you're wanting to give something a little bit more of a bakery twist to it or warm something up a little bit. Love it. So let's go to the bakery section here. Stroopwaffle Delight, a cozy twist on a traditional Dutch treat made with creamy vanilla, rich melted butter, and cinnamon. It is so good. It's so, so good. Stroopwaffle Delight is a delight. Next one, of course, I had to have a couple of pumpkin fragrances. So breakfast in bed, you wouldn't like automatically smell that and think, oh, it's all pumpkin. Like there's more to breakfast in bed than just pumpkin. So for my like pumpkin specific scent, I decided to go with pumpkin cinnamon swirl, and I really love this one. I've always gone between pumpkin roll and pumpkin cinnamon swirl for like my straightforward pumpkin scents, but I love this. Here's the differences. This is always how I describe the two. Pumpkin roll, imagine a pumpkin cinnamon roll, pumpkin cinnabon. That's exactly what it smells like. It's pretty, I don't want to say straightforward because it's so, so good. I love it. But then along came pumpkin cinnamon swirl, and it's pumpkin roll, but with a vanilla finish. It's so good. And I love the vanilla finish on this because it just kind of tones down the cinnamon ever so slightly. So if you're someone who you love pumpkin scents and pumpkin pastry, bakery type scents, but you don't like vanilla, I would say go pumpkin roll. But for me personally, I love vanilla in any of my scents. So pumpkin cinnamon swirl, it is for me. I love this one. Also another really amazing performer. So Scentsy says pumpkin cinnamon swirl, fresh pumpkin garnished with cinnamon stick and a dollop of whipped icing. Oh yes. But I mean, I'm not gonna kick any pumpkin scent. Well, there's one pumpkin scent I would kick out of my warmers, but other than that, I love all the pumpkin scents. But this one would definitely be my favorite, definitely top 10 worthy. Next one is honey pear cider, and this one is a favorite of both of ours, both myself and Melanie. I know she loves this one. I would almost bet money that this is gonna be on her list, so we shall see. This is just wonderful. It is so wonderful. You get the sweetness of the honey, you get juicy pear, you also get this like apple cider kind of feel, but it's so good, so sweet, so perfectly fall. And this is a good, I would say, fairly authentic pear scent. This always makes my mouth water whenever I smell it. I'm always like, oh, it smells so good. So, Scentsy says, where are you at? Honey pear cider. This is not considered, it's considered fruity. Well, of course it is. I was thinking it was gonna be, I don't know, under something else. So, honey pear cider, the scent of pure autumn bliss. See, I had to make my list. Fresh, juicy pear and sweet honey together with subtle hints of spices. I love it. Wonderful. Next is apple butter frosting, and I know she's gonna know that this is on my list. So this is one of absolutely my favorite fall time fragrances. This to me smells like apple cider meets buttercream frosting. It is so good. So good. It's sweet, it's rich, it's decadent. It's wonderful. And let me tell you what Scentsy says about this. This one also makes a really good mixer, believe it or not. It's fantastic, but amazing on its own. Also another really great performer. One thing I will say about this particular scent with apple butter frosting, the oils, it's kind of infamous for the oils separate almost every single time. So when you get this and you warm it and you get the separation of the oils, and so you see, like when you go to change out your wax, you may see some of the residue on the dish. Take an alcohol swab, some counter clean, whatever, it'll come right out. That doesn't mean the bar is bad or old or anything like that. It's just the oils that are in this wax. Some of the other, especially during the fall and winter months, a lot more of the bars will have those kinds of oils that will separate and kind of leave a little staining on your dish, but it should wipe right out. So don't worry, you didn't get a bad bar. Apple butter frosting, a heartwarming medley of cinnamon spiced apples and decadent vanilla buttercream. See, what did I tell you? But the cinnamon in this, it's not red hot cinnamon. You do definitely pick up that cinnamon, but like I said, it's more like apple cider kind of cinnamon spice meets buttercream frosting. So it's done really, really well. I feel like the balance between the cinnamon spice and that like buttercream frosting is a really good balance. So love this one, and it definitely had to make my list. Okay, we are rounding out here. Number 9 is another new one, Dancing Sugar Plums. This one's so good. This one is really, really nice. And I feel like I was going back and forth. I'm like, do I want this for my fall or my winter? Because I can totally see this in, honestly, either season, but it's so nice. I think because I do get a little bit of spice in this. I get plums. I do get like a little hint of like apple. It's really nice. Love this one. It's almost kind of, I was gonna say refreshing. I don't know if it's the plum in this. I love the balance of this. Scentsy says, Dancing Sugar Plums, rich spiced plum falls right in step with visions of vanilla and sweet cinnamon apple. It's just done really nicely. So this is, like I said, this is another new release. Scentsy has totally outdone themselves in my opinion for the new releases. And last but most certainly not least, and I know she's gonna laugh at me because she's right, because I think this is in the holiday, this is in the holiday section, but I love this for fall as well as winter, so I'm gonna do me. Winterberry apple tea. And I know Winterberry is in the title, so technically this should be a winter scent, but I love it for fall. When this comes back, I'm always like, yes. I say always. The first year it came out was last year, but when this did come out, I was like, oh, thank goodness I can warm the ones that I have, and it's so wonderful. This, to me, I get cranberry, I get apples, I get sweet honey. It's so good. And I think it's because I get like some sweet apple notes to it that I feel like I want this to be a fall scent. That's just me. So Scentsy says, winter tea cozies up to cranberry, apple, and honey. And I absolutely agree with that 100%. It's just, I want to warm it all the time. And starts right now for the fall season. So I love this. Another really, really great performer as well. So it had to make my list. So, and this is definitely, it's a favorite. So like I said, there was no like ranking on like best to least. I don't want to say worst because these are my top 10 favorites, but there you have it. So those are my top 10 fragrances that I am choosing for this fall season 2020. Once again, just going over it really quickly. Cider Mill, Almond Croissant, Breakfast in Bed, Apples and Oats, Stroopwaffle Delight, Pumpkin Cinnamon Swirl, Honey Pear Cider, Apple Butter Frosting, Dancing Sugar Plums, and Winterberry Apple Tea. So I can't wait to see what Melanie's picks are. If you are newer to my channel, hello and welcome. If you have yet to check out Melanie's channel, you have to go check her out. She's absolutely fabulous. You will love her. Her channel name is Mr. Kong's Mom. I will link her video down below, so definitely be sure to check her out and subscribe if you are new. She's absolutely fabulous. So Mel's Bells, I love you. Mwah! I can't wait to see you hopefully next year. We'll keep our fingers crossed. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you're new, please subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.